Have you ever had that feeling where you can read an English book pretty easily, but the second you try to listen to a conversation, it all just turns into noise? Well, today we're going to break down exactly why listening can feel so much harder and what that actually means for you.
Does this sound familiar? You can read English like a book. You feel confident, you know the words, but when people start to talk, poof, everything just disappears. It's like the words melt away before you can grab them. It's a super frustrating feeling, but I promise you, you are not the only one. So let's find out together why this happens.
So here's the most important idea we're going to talk about today. You're not just learning one English, you're actually learning two. Seriously. There's the English that you see in books, and then there's the English that people actually speak. And trust me, they play by a completely different set of rules.
I want you to think of it like this. The English you read, that's like a perfectly neat library. Every word has its own space, there's punctuation to tell you when to pause, it's organized, it's patient. But spoken English, that's more like a loud, crowded party. It's fast, it's a little bit messy, and all the words are just bumping into each other, all connected.
Okay, so let's dig into that first part, reading. Because when you read, there's one person who is completely in charge of the whole experience. And that person is you. You're the boss.
Just look at how different these two things are. When you're reading, you control everything. The speed, it's your pace, you have clear punctuation like commas and periods that are like little road signs for your brain. If you don't understand something, you can just reread it, easy. And if you see a new word, you can stop and look it up. But now, look at listening. All of that control, it's gone.
So let's talk about listening. If reading is like a nice, calm walk in the park, listening is like trying to jump onto a high-speed train that is absolutely not stopping for you. This time, the speaker is the boss, and your only job is to try and keep up.
And just how fast is that train moving? Well, on average, a native English speaker fires off about 150 words per minute. That gives your brain almost no time to pause, to think, or to translate. You have to process everything right then and there at their speed, not yours. It's relentless.
But it's not even just about the speed. There's this whole other layer to it. It's like a secret language of sound that happens in spoken English. Something that you'd never ever see written down in a book. So when you're reading, you see this perfectly clear sentence. I am going to get a cup of coffee. Each word is spelled out, separate, easy to recognize. Your brain sees that and goes, yep, got it.
But here's the thing. You will almost never hear a native speaker say it like that. In a real conversation, in a coffee shop, what you're actually going to hear sounds a lot more like this. I'm going to get a cup of coffee. Right? It's just one long, connected sound. The spaces between the words, they just vanish. So, how on earth do we get from that nice, clean sentence to that? Let's crack the code. First, words link together. So cup of just smooshes into cuppa. Then sounds get reduced. Going to becomes the famous gonna. And finally, sometimes we just drop letters entirely. So getta sounds way more like getta. This is the secret language of spoken English, and it's happening all the time. And this brings us to a really, really important point about your vocabulary. See, you don't just have one vocabulary, you actually have two. Your passive vocabulary, that's the one you use for reading, is probably huge. It's all the words you recognize on a page. But your active vocabulary, the one for listening and speaking, is always much, much smaller. And that's exactly why you can know a word when you read it, but your brain just doesn't catch it when it flies by in a fast conversation. Okay, so we've talked about the challenges. It's fast, the sounds are all connected, it uses a totally different part of your vocabulary. It sounds kind of impossible, right? But I want you to start thinking about this in a completely new way. Let's get a new perspective. That difficulty you feel when you're listening, that's not a flaw. It's not a sign that your English is bad. It's proof that your brain is building an incredibly complex skill. I mean, think about it. You're learning to process information at a crazy speed, decode sounds that don't even look like their written versions, guess meaning from context, and you're doing all of that at the exact same time. That's a serious mental workout. So please, if you take one thing away today, let it be this. Stop telling yourself that your listening is bad. It's not. The problem isn't your ability. The problem is that listening is a completely different skill from reading. It uses different muscles in your brain, and it just needs a different kind of training. And once you realize that, it changes everything. The question you need to ask yourself is no longer, why is my listening so bad? The new question, the much more powerful question is this. How can I start practicing this new, active, and honestly kind of exciting skill? And that, right there, is where your real journey begins.